My stage name is Isolated Beauty, and I'm a performing artist. So I dance, I do spoken word and poetry. I'm an author. I have a book out. I model. I act. I just do pretty much everything. I'm just an artist.
What don't you do? I should ask you that question.
I can't play instruments.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, where'd you grow up? About your upbringing.
I'm from Augusta, Georgia, born and raised. I kind of grew up in like, how do I explain this? Like lower class neighborhoods, I suppose. So, but I had a good childhood, you know, even through my struggles and seeing my family make sacrifices and just growing up in the neighborhoods that I grew up in. I'm blessed to say that I had a good childhood. I was able to be a child, just surrounded with love, you know, even surrounded with art. You know, I didn't know it was such a big deal, like people could do art and be artists, but I think art has always been around me, and yeah.
Well, let me ask you that then, because you mentioned art. What would you say art means to you?
Art is my everything, to be honest. It's my therapy. It's my safe place. It's truly what keeps me going. It's just where I feel most vulnerable and comfortable and safe and even alive. Like, that's why I love performing and being on stage. I just feel like my most honest self. It's a way that I can connect with others. You know, I'm capable of talking as a person, but connecting through art and telling my stories and expressing my feelings through art, that's how I connect with other people and inspire other people. So, yeah, art is my everything. I know that sounds like hella cliche, but, you know, it really is, you know.
What's your take on Davidson as far as just going there if you want to grow up to be in any kind of art form?
Okay, I definitely would say it's case to case. It really just depends on who you are and the department that you're in. Just a little bit about my particular experience. I auditioned, I was inspired to audition after I saw the Black History show. Like, I was amazed. It was just so amazing. I'd never really seen anything like that before. So I auditioned then once I was old enough to audition, when I got to 5th grade. And originally, believe this or not, I came in as a visual artist. So I wanted to paint and draw and all the other stuff because I took art classes in elementary school. So that was the art I got there for. Lo and behold, I ended up being there for dance, which is what I least expected. Because back then, I danced, but I was like, you know. I was like really academically driven back then, so even the art thing, I was still kind of like, oh yeah, this is cute, this is fun. But then I fell in love with dance around 8th grade. Like, I took modern after taking some ballet, and I just fell in love, and it made me feel alive in a time where things were tough and I was finding myself. So yeah, I would say that Davidson definitely prepared me for, I guess, what people call the real world of being an artist. I dealt with a lot of struggles as far as like being made fun of and bullied because I was very different. Although it was difficult, it made me into who I am today, one, and it made me into a better artist. I just knew to keep persevering and keep going. I knew I'd have the last laugh. I knew that my hard work would pay off. I knew that I, you know, would get better. And not saying that all of my experience was bad. Every time I get asked that, I'm like, I don't want these folks to think that I just went through hell, because I didn't, you know. Yeah, it definitely prepared me. It taught me a level of professionalism relating to my art that I don't think I would have learned being at a regular high school. You know, there's pros and cons. I was very sheltered going to Davidson. So I think going to college and even just interacting with people who didn't go to Davidson, you know, it's a bit culture shock. But, you know, I knew I wanted to be an artist, and I knew that, you know, it was preparation for me to do what I love. So
you mentioned ballerina. I don't know.
Ballet.
Okay, ballet. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm talking about. You mentioned that. And I'm asking you this. I don't know if you ever seen it or nothing like that. But what was your takeaway when you first saw Save the Last Dance? That's the first thing that I thought of when you said that. Yeah,
I watched that movie all the time as a kid. Oh my God, I loved it. And then I got older and I was like, ooh. Not even like just the dancing, you know, like it's a decent movie. But once you become a dancer and you're in it, you be like the whole chair scene, I thought that shit was so fire when I was a kid. And now I look at it, I'm like, ah. But and even beyond, just take the dancing away, like the classism and the different like races and how you're treated, and like growing up in this neighborhood, you have Derek trying to be a doctor and all the other stuff. Like that shit that's real, you know what I'm saying? And so I think that I see that movie with a different set of eyes now that I'm older. But I think my big takeaway was like I don't know. I think it was just like, I think it's cliche, like follow your dreams, you know, life's gonna take you to some, you know, bad and ugly places, but, you know, keep going, and, you know, your dreams are honestly is what's gonna save you and help you heal through that. So yeah.
Your stage name, you say your stage name is Isolated Beauty. Mm-hmm. Can you tell me what that means?
Funny story. So I'm 14 or 15, I don't remember, and I was like very like just on social media, and it's so silly, and all girls, they were just like, I'm just so different, and I'm different, and I'm different. And for some reason, I had an issue with that. I'm like, yeah, I think I'm different too, but if everyone's saying they're different, then like, what's the point? Like, so that's where I got isolated from. I'm like, you know what? I'm not different. I'm isolated. And I know that sounds like hella corny, and it kind of was, being that I was that young, but no, you know, I spend a lot of time alone and in my solitude, especially as an artist and just as a person in general. So isolated is how I feel a lot of the times, and I don't think that's always a negative thing. In beauty, you know, I think that we all have beauty. Our beauty is different. Isolated beauty is just how I felt. It took me a while to get comfortable with my appearance and my artistry and all that, and that's how I felt. You know, I wanted something that represented me as a whole. And yeah, and then the zero, there's a zero instead of an O. Honestly, that happened because when I went to change my name on social media, someone took it without the zero, so I had to change it to a zero. So that's really where it started. But it's kind of cool hearing different people's interpretations. What it means to me, honestly, like, no one compares to me, no one's like me, nothing to lose, everything to gain.
If any, did your parents change over the years? Like, what we're seeing right now, like what was it like 6 years ago?
6 years ago, well, I think I still was getting relaxers, so I probably had like a little bob or whatever. Oh, I think what really changed was how I perceived myself and how I looked at myself. You know, I wasn't proud of how I looked. I didn't like how I looked. You know, I have a gap, and I was very muscular, and like my hair, I thought my hair was nappy and all that other stuff. So I think that's
not to cut you off, but you know, the funny thing about a lot of that stuff is that's like what's trendy now.
Yeah,
there are people that want gaps now.
Yeah,
you see people like without relaxers now,
yeah,
more so than ever now.
Yeah, yeah,
so.
And I think it's beautiful, and it's also sometimes it pisses me off because like people, I don't know. Sometimes you see people like make fun of that stuff still, and it's just like. One, I couldn't afford braces. Okay, let's start there. So I was like, all right, I need to get comfortable with this, and I knew it was special, and I was like, okay, I'll get used to it. You know what I'm saying? And I grew into it, because sometimes you have an overbite and it'd be too big for your. It'd be like too big, but then like I grew into it. I was like, all right, cool. So, but okay, let me be serious. So how I really did that, I kind of use reverse psychology. That's what I like to call it. So I didn't like how I looked. I started looking at myself more. So I would prop up my camera, take pictures, you know, and that's a rough process because you don't like how you look. Why would you do that? But this saying that I learned from a bunch of different people, a bunch of different places. They would say, you know, just choose one thing that you like about yourself. Like, no matter how silly it is, one thing you like about your appearance, and you focus on that. And after a while, you'll begin to see the beauty in the rest of you. So the feature that I chose was my eyes, and this is foreshadowing into my book title. So I loved my eyes. I thought I had beautiful eyes, and I stayed focused on that. You know, I'm like, all right, everything else looks kind of fucked up. All right, I have beautiful eyes. You know what? I'm going to just take this victory. And so after a while, you know, you like, you know what? My smile is kind of nice, gapping on. And then you're like, oh, I have nice cheekbones. And oh, my hair is nice, you know what I'm saying? And that love for yourself just begins to like spread to the rest of you. So that's how I got comfortable with myself, and how I viewed myself change. I'm always changing styles. I like to wear all kinds of different stuff. I done went through numerous haircuts. My sides have been gone, my sides and my back.
Well, I wanted to talk about some of the arts you do, because you mentioned a lot. I would say a few, but you mentioned a lot in the beginning. So can you run down a list of what are arts you do and kind of what are you proud of from each one? Okay. I know you mentioned the books. That's why I wanted to get to that at some point too.
Well, dancing, like I said, I dominantly do ballet and modern. That's where I'm most comfortable. Far as what I'm most proud of, I think, let me see here. I've won a talent show before, Omega Sci-Fi. It was a talent show. I won the county, and I was able to go to state. I didn't place for state, but I placed first for the county one. That was a very big pivotal moment because I really took my heartbreak that I was going through. You know, girls, we be child. And just everything that I was going through, like becoming a woman, I was really stepping into like the beginning stages of my womanhood at that time. And I wanted to take that confusion and that heartbreak and, you know, that sense of hope that I had, that I knew things were going to get better. I put that into a dance, and to have won a talent show and to have touched people with that, I think that was a big deal. I've worked with some very great people. Everyone knows AE the Cool. I started performing outside of school once I gained some confidence, and you know, I wanted more for myself outside of school and these troubles I was facing. So I started performing outside of school at Humanitarian House, at open mics, things like that, and it connected me to some amazing artists. That's honestly how I'm here, like Karen Gordon, AE the Cool, even open mics, like diving into poetry, Most Elevated Deepness, Saw Jules, like they've really seen me grow up, even Brother B, you know, so performing outside of school and being able to have my own voice, no one tells me that it's wrong or it's, you know, that was just a big moment for dance. Oh, okay. Last thing for dance, because I do the most. College, my first year of college, my first semester there. I went to Valdosta State University, by the way. I was soloist of the dance concert. I was casted in 3 pieces, and I was soloist of all 3 of them. So to do that soon, one, it was just like, yo, what the fuck? Like, whoa, especially after all I'd been through in high school. You know, I went into college, I'm like, yo, I'm not fucking around with y'all. Y'all not about to play with me. Like, I had that attitude. I had this super hard exterior, you know what I'm saying? And to just do something that major so soon, like, it was just like, whoa, like, my dreams had come true, and I knew there was more to life than, you know, life at Davidson or my struggles. So, yeah, that was a big accomplishment.
I got a question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you
soloist. I don't know what that means.
Soloist is pretty much.
And why is it important? Because you mentioned it. I want to make sure people that like me that don't know art, watching or listening to this, I want them to understand what that means. Soloist
is pretty much you do a solo, so you're dancing by yourself. It's all you. That's it. Yeah.
But getting picked for that, like, why would they pick? Like I'm saying, like, them picking you over other people means it's a big deal, right?
Yes, yes, that's a big deal. That's a huge deal.
Got you.
Yeah. I think that's did I explain that well? I was like,
I knew you was by yourself. Yeah. I knew that part because the solo part, but I wasn't sure, like, cause I don't know art or dance. So like if I told you, I got a triple-double last night.
Yeah, I don't know.
See, you know what I'm saying? I might say, I got 3 things over 10 points. I might have to explain it to you to see why it's a good thing. So
okay, cool.
Soloist just means that they isolated you, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I could put pieces together now. I want to make sure. Got you. How much of art is being able to be talented in many areas, do you think? Does it matter? Does it not matter? Or
I feel like it depends. I think to me it matters because let's say I'm in a musical. I've seen people that can act and sing, but they can't dance. And then I've seen people that can dance that can't act and sing. So it's like it's really case to case. Like I know some people who just dance and they're doing exceptionally well. You know, I know some super talented, well-rounded people. They're just as good as this art form as that art form. For me personally, it's just like I have a lot inside of me that I want to get out. And at first I was limiting myself to just one art form, which was dance. And it's not that I didn't love those other art forms. I didn't take pride in them. I do think that I did have to gain some confidence. Like, yes, I do this and I can do more than one thing. I don't have to water myself down. People will think that you're too much. You know, that's bull crap. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important. I think it's beautiful to be able to do more than one thing. But, you know, if you want to stick with your one thing, it's nothing wrong with that either.
I wanted to talk about your book. What was the title?
Through the Eyes of Isolated Beauty.
Is it out already? Or?
Yes, it's
okay.
out.
And when did it come out?
I self-published it November 11th, 2020. So
okay.
11/11/2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the significance of the date in the title?
Oh, fun fact. So at first I was going to release it earlier than that because I had been working on this for a while. Like, believe it or not, the earliest time I think I started a book, I was like 15, 16, but like it wasn't working out well because, like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's just like, girl, what are you gonna talk about? It's like you haven't really been through much. Like, not that you haven't been through much, but it's just like I was too all over the place. So like, right. I knew I wanted to do it. I always knew that. Like, since I was a girl, I've loved books, like, always. So I was gonna release it early. I had been working on it for a while. Like, even when I was in college, like, I was balancing being soloist of all these pieces, my academics, which was very important because, like, I was heavily relying on scholarships, and then I'd come home, do my homework, rehearse, and still work on the book. My roommate was like, you need to go to sleep, it's late. Like, I was balancing a lot, so it had been in the works for a while, and once I was done, I was like, listen, let me just get this out. Like, I'm tired, kind of, and I want people to read it, you know? So originally, I think I was going to do 10/20/2020, but what happened, the books were printed incorrectly. So I had to push the release date back to 11/11. Now, believe it or not, 11/11 was the first date that I decided, but I was impatient and I wanted to get it out, and I was rushing. Like, we're just going to call it what it was, you know, not rushing because, like, I was just, you know, but I was eager. And it taught me this really big lesson, like, one, go with your first mind, trust your intuition, trust your spirit. Significance of 11/11/2020, well, 2020 vision, and then Through the Eyes. So, like, yeah, I did that. And then when I was younger, I know,
I like that.
And then when I was younger, like 14, 15, you know, that was a very tough time in my life. I was dealing with a lot of insecurities and my own, like, battling with my demons, to be honest with you. And I was kind of that, like, person that, you know, made 11/11 wishes, and, you know, I just always wish for things to be better. You know, wish that I didn't feel this way, wish that, you know, I'd be led to the right people for me, whether that was platonically or romantically. Yeah, that's how I got 11/11/2020.
I'm curious, how'd you get into spoken word? I'm not gonna lie, I'm a big fan of spoken word.
Yeah.
Maybe because I like rap so much, or like music, but something about that form of art I love.
I think I've been writing, like, ever since I was a kid, you know, thought nothing of it. It was just something that I like to do. I really got into it because I thought I wanted to quit dancing. So I dealt with this. I was just having a tough time, you know. Sometimes you have a lot of people in your ear telling you no and you can't. Sometimes you start believing that. And I got to a point I was really believing that, and I thought I wanted to quit. So what I didn't quit, by the way, if you wonder. I took some time away. I didn't dance that summer. I'm not, I'm not, like, formally trained. So, you know, I trained inside of school, but not, like, classes outside of school. That's what people consider formally trained and all that, but it's not important, trust me.
That's
so
Davidson talk.
What'd you say?
That's some Davidson talk.
Yeah.
Got you.
Man, listen. So then I thought I wanted to quit dancing, so I turned to writing because I had to get it out. It was just like, that's when I really got serious about spoken word. Like, I was already writing, because that's how I dealt with, like, all of the insecurities and demons I was fighting, but I got serious about spoken word when I wanted to quit dancing. It really became my safe place and brought me out of that place. So I did my first open mic at the old Humana Treehouse. I went with one of my friends at the time, and that was my first time performing. And, you know, of course, like, it was my first time, so, like, I look back now, I'm like, ooh. But, yeah, that's how I got into it. It got me out of it, and I didn't quit dancing, and now I do all kinds of stuff.
Well, I'm gonna close here. I want to ask you this. For anybody that's trying to support you, I know you got a book out and stuff like that. Can you give us some way to support you?
Yeah. So all of my social media is Isolated Beauty with a 0. So that's IS0LATED BEAUTY. My website is www.isolatedbeauty.com, as far as where you can purchase my book. That's available on my website, and it's also available on Amazon. Support comes in numerous ways. You know, there's purchasing a book. It's just they're sending a kind message, like commenting, sharing someone, like if I post a poem, someone sharing that, that's a form of support. Just sending love, like sending a message, or coming to shows, things like that. Like support comes in a lot of different ways. So, no pressure, and everybody's gonna support you differently. So, I just take what I'm given, kind of, and yeah.
No, I appreciate this. Thank you for the interview, and
of course, thank you for
having me. Wish you much success. Okay.
Thank you.